Before you check your phone, before you scroll through the noise, there is a sacred moment waiting to meet you, a moment that could change everything about how you walk through your day and who you become while doing it. Before the sun finishes climbing over the horizon, before the world begins to pull at your attention with texts, alerts, headlines, demands, there is a sacred window, a moment so soft, so still, that it almost passes unnoticed. And in that space, your soul stands open, waiting to be filled. What you allow to enter in that hour does not simply decorate your mood, it begins to carve the shape of your entire day. The first voice you hear is not just background noise. It is direction, it is programming, it is prophecy in disguise. If the first voice you hear is chaos, if it is fear, confusion, complaint, or comparison, you will carry that tone with you like a soundtrack. You'll move through your day second-guessing, reacting, spiraling. Not because the world has conspired against you, but because you gave your mind over to disorder before peace had a chance to speak. But if the first voice you allow into your morning is rooted in truth, if it is your creator, your inner wisdom, the grounding of gratitude, then everything that follows must reckon with the strength you began with. That's why morning devotion matters, because your soul is most pliable before the noise of the world hardens it. Your thoughts are most unguarded when your body is just waking. And so, you must be intentional about what you let in during those sacred early hours. Speak love into yourself before the world has a chance to speak lack. Speak purpose into your day before pressure tries to define your worth. Recite peace before conflict has time to knock. You are not weak for needing stillness. You are wise for claiming it. The first voice you hear sets a frequency, and that frequency will either lift you into calm or scatter you into confusion. When you start your day with a voice that reminds you of your worth, that speaks promise over your pain, that calls you to rise before the world pulls you low, you don't walk, you command. You don't survive the day. You sculpt it with every decision, every reaction, every word. So you must choose. Choose who gets to plant the first seed in your spirit each day. Choose what sound, what truth, what voice gets the privilege of defining the foundation you will stand on. Because that voice, whether divine or destructive, whether gentle or loud, whether rooted in love or born of fear, will echo inside of you long after the morning fades. And its whisper, chosen in stillness, will shape how you speak, how you respond, and how you see yourself as the hours unfold. Every morning holds a question. Will you lead your day, or will your day lead you? The moment your eyes open, life waits with its hands full of noise, full of tasks, full of demands, full of opinions that do not belong to you but will gladly define you if you are not careful. If you do not take command of your morning, if you do not intentionally place your spirit in the seat of authority, then the world will assign you a place you did not choose. It will whisper its worries before you can plant your peace. It will speak frustration before you've had a chance to declare focus. And by noon, you'll wonder why your heart feels heavy, why your mind feels crowded, why your strength is already worn thin. But if you speak life into your morning, if you decide before the world decides for you, everything changes. You become the sculptor instead of the sculpture. You shift from reacting to creating. Speaking life is not just about affirmations, it is about awareness. It's looking into the face of a new day and saying, I am not at the mercy of what may come. I walk with the mercy of what already lives within me. It's refusing to let the past sleep beside you into the morning light. It's reminding your soul that yesterday does not write today unless you let it. You must speak over your own life before the voices of doubt and pressure speak louder. You must declare clarity where confusion tries to creep in. You must pronounce peace where chaos waits to settle. Speak kindness to yourself when your first thought is to criticize. Speak direction when the day feels uncertain. Speak presence when your mind tries to race ahead to burdens you weren't built to carry alone. Because life is not silent, it will speak. And if your soul is unguarded, it will speak fear. If your intention is absent, it will speak distraction. If your spirit is left empty, it will speak anything that wanders through your environment. But when you fill your morning with truth, when you rise and breathe words that nourish rather than deplete, then life has no choice but to rise in response. Then your day starts to reflect what you planted, not what was thrown at you. Your words are not weak, they are seeds, and the morning is the most fertile ground they will ever find. So speak as one who knows the power of planting. Speak with the weight of your wisdom, with the fullness of your faith, with the calm of someone who knows the storm may come, but it will not consume. Speak not as one who hopes things go well, but as one who declares that peace and power are non-negotiable foundations. Speak not just to survive, but to shape the soil of your day with the strength of your soul. Speak life, because silence will always leave space for something else to speak for you. Speak life, because your day is listening and your life is waiting to follow the sound of your intention. There is a sacred truth resting in the rhythm of creation. What you give your attention to multiplies. What you acknowledge, you empower. And what you praise rises. Not just in scripture or in song, not just in temples or sanctuaries, but in the everyday altar of your life. You don't need a pulpit to worship. Your thoughts are hymns, your words are offerings, and your focus is your devotion. And the truth is, whatever you lift with your energy, with your focus, with your reverence, be it joy or fear, peace or panic, it grows, it expands. It stands taller in your mind, broader in your life, more commanding in your path. If you wake up and praise your worry, it won't just sit still. It will grow legs. It will run through every room in your house. It will climb into your decisions, your tone, your posture, your interactions. If you greet the day with bitterness, you've already fertilized every negative thought waiting to bloom. If you speak about your limitations more than your gifts, you've crowned them, given them authority they were never meant to hold. And soon, you find yourself living in a reality built on the back of what you chose to exalt. Not because it's the only truth, but because it's the one you fed. But the same law works for light. If you praise peace, even in a storm, it begins to rise. If you praise the little progress you've made instead of the distance left to go, you plant momentum. If you give thanks for your breath, your clarity, your chance to begin again, you shift the atmosphere around you. When you praise what is good, the good becomes louder. It becomes bolder. It starts to call forth more of itself. Gratitude is not denial. It is divine strategy. Praise does not ignore the pain. It chooses to elevate something higher. You see, the world has trained many to exalt struggle, to glorify the grind, to speak more on what hurts than what heals. But you have a choice. You have the sacred power to create with your mouth, to resurrect with your attention, to transform with your language. You can praise strength even when your knees are trembling. You can praise direction even when the road is unclear. You can praise hope, not because everything is perfect, but because something inside you refuses to die with the darkness. And when you shift what you exalt, everything follows. Your emotions begin to align. Your body begins to breathe differently. Your relationships take shape from the overflow of your lifted spirit. Your obstacles don't disappear, but they shrink beneath the altitude of your awareness. Because the law is as old as time itself. What you feed flourishes. What you honor expands. What you praise rises. Not just around you, but within you. Not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. Praise is a portal, and those who understand its power do not wait for something good to happen. They speak life into the silence until good appears. They raise what matters above what threatens until peace becomes the loudest sound in the room. So many believe devotion begins and ends with words lifted in solitude, heads bowed low, hands clasped tight in the sacred ritual of prayer. But devotion, true, embodied, living devotion, is far more than the moment you speak to the heavens. It is not only what you say in stillness, it is what you do in motion. It is how you arrange your life around the belief that you are not wandering aimlessly, but walking with purpose, guided not by fear, but by divine design. Devotion is not just the whisper of requests in the quiet corners of dawn. It is the decision to align yourself with truth, with peace, with strength, even when the world offers you every excuse to fold. To be devoted is to position yourself in such a way that you are ready to receive, not because of what you've done, but because of who you've chosen to be. It's a posture, a stance, a holy defiance that says, I will not be swayed by circumstance. I will not be led by chaos. I will not be ruled by distraction. It is standing firm in the face of the storm, not simply begging for the wind to stop, but anchoring yourself in a deeper center, rooted and unmoved. Because prayer may start the conversation, but positioning determines whether your life is prepared to carry the answers when they arrive. Devotion shows up in your decisions, in what you say yes to, in what you walk away from, in what you allow your mind to dwell on. It shows up when you stop looking for evidence of failure and start expecting the arrival of what you prayed for. It's not just about asking for guidance. It's about arranging your steps like you already know it's coming. It's in how you speak about yourself when no one is listening. It's in how you show up when you're tired. It's in how you love people who cannot repay you. It's in how you guard your time like a sacred altar and protect your peace like a holy flame. Devotion is not a once-a-day occurrence. It is a way of walking, a way of listening, a way of living. It is your agreement with the unseen. It's the rhythm of your thoughts, the direction of your gaze, the choices you make when no applause follows. You don't just pray and wait. You position your life so that when the shift comes, when the opportunity knocks, when the healing arrives, you are already in place, already in motion, already prepared to receive what your spirit knew was coming long before your eyes could see it. Each morning is not just a continuation of time, it is a divine interruption, a sacred calling into the present. When your eyes flutter open, when breath returns to your awareness and light pierces the veil of rest, that is not just your body waking, it is your purpose being summoned. You do not rise by accident. You do not awaken by routine. You are called, not by the clock, not by the calendar, but by something ancient, something infinite that has once again whispered, "You are needed." You are not merely waking to complete tasks, to go through motions, to replay what yesterday left undone. You are waking because something in this world remains incomplete without your touch, your thought, your presence. The moment you rise into assignment. Even if you don't yet understand the full shape of it, even if the details are still blurred by uncertainty, the very breath in your lungs is proof that your name is still echoing in the halls of eternity. You are summoned, not just to exist, but to engage. And being summoned does not always look grand. It can arrive in the ordinary, in the child who needs your patience, in the stranger who needs your kindness, in the work that demands your excellence, in the silence that requires your stillness. You are not just waking to repeat a cycle, you are waking to step into alignment with something only your soul was built to carry. There are people, places, and outcomes already waiting on the version of you who decided to honor that call, who treated the gift of waking up as a responsibility, not a routine. There is no such thing as a neutral awakening. When you rise, you step onto a battlefield or into a blessing, sometimes both, and you must choose whether you'll walk with your spirit half asleep or fully aware of the sacredness in the summons. The darkness tried to keep you, but light called you by name. That means there is still purpose pulsing beneath your ribs. There is still vision behind your eyes. There is still a note in your voice that this world hasn't heard yet. And your very presence in this day is the proof that the story isn't over. The healing isn't finished. The calling has not gone silent. You are not merely awake. You are chosen again, summoned again, anointed again to stand, to speak, to serve, to shine, to be the living answer to a prayer someone else hasn't even dared to speak yet. Miracles are not always found in flashes of light or the sudden trembling of the earth beneath your feet. More often, they bloom slowly, like seeds that trusted the soil before they ever saw the sun. What you do every day, what you whisper into the dawn, what you choose when no one is looking, those small acts repeated, refined, and rooted in faith become the foundation on which extraordinary things are built. Consistency is not glamorous, it is not loud, but it is holy. It is the quiet power that shapes what others call impossible into the inevitable. The world teaches us to chase moments, to look for breakthroughs wrapped in emotion and urgency. But the wise soul knows that power lies in rhythm. The rhythm of devotion, the rhythm of rising even when you're tired, the rhythm of choosing light when shadows pull. What you repeat, you strengthen. What you strengthen, you become. And what you become over time starts to shape the world around you in ways even your prayers did not predict. There is nothing small about showing up. There is nothing ordinary about choosing discipline over distraction, truth over temptation, stillness over noise. It is easy to be moved for a day. It is easy to shout affirmations when you feel good, to write down dreams when the vision is fresh. But consistency is what carries that energy across days when motivation forgets your name. It is what protects the fire when the winds of doubt blow hardest. It is what builds bridges across the gaps where belief threatens to collapse. You don't need more signs. You don't need louder voices. You need the quiet courage to keep going, because the miracle is not in the sudden arrival, but in the sacred unfolding. Every morning you choose to begin again. Every time you decide to believe even a little more. Every step you take that feels too small to matter is building something too great to fail. Miracles don't shout, they emerge. They rise like the sun, steady, certain, and sovereign over the darkness. And if you would just trust the process, trust the pace, trust the power of staying faithful to what you know is true, you would begin to see that what once felt like waiting was really preparation. What once felt like silence was really strategy, and what